right, and a very good evening to you. Many thanks for joining us. This is Easy Friday on this day, the 23rd day of September. Bring you an update of what's been shaping up on this particular day. The latest from the government is that the competency-based curriculum, that's the CBC, is here to stay. We have details of that, and members of the National Assembly dismissing remarks by the Treasury Cabinet Secretary Korea Tani that there will be no disbursement of the national government CDF for the current financial year. A bit of a row there. We're looking at that in not too long. But first things first, this is a bird's view of Easy Friday. Tonight, I'm riding solo. All right, DP Rigathi Gachagua in Kisumu for Music Festival says as the CBC is here to stay and towards sustainable growth. President William Ruto affirms Kenya's commitment to work with the African Development Bank. And disbursement of the national government constituency development fund this financial year, MPs are up in arms. Hi, my name is John Kago. Welcome to Easy Friday. A bit later we'll have the spotlight, and tonight it's Vivian Ndego who will be handling that. Turning it a little bit down, we will have Heart the Band later. That's for the spotlight on Easy Friday. Let's bring you up to date with the news shaping up tonight. Now, President Dr. William Ruto has reaffirmed Kenya's commitment to work with the African Development Bank to spur sustainable growth and drive social progress to end poverty, tackle hunger, and promote the well-being of Kenyans. Speaking in New York, where he held a series of meetings with heads of state and international organizations, President Ruto also pledged to support Intergovernmental Authority on Development, that's IGAD, efforts to achieve sustainable peace and prosperity in the region. Now, the head of state also met with the World Health Organization Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, assuring him of continued partnership. President Ruto also held bilateral talks with Portugal Prime Minister Antonio Costa, Gaston Brown, the Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, and Dr. Terence Michael Drew, that's the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis. Said now members of the National Assembly have dismissed remarks by Treasury Cabinet Secretary Korea Tani that there will be no disbursement of the National Government Constituency Development Fund for the 2022-2023 financial year. The lawmakers have vowed to amend the Constitution to entrench the CDF in the interest of Kenyans. Our senior parliamentary reporter Yushuki Washira has more details on this.
Day after Treasury Cabinet Secretary Ukur Yatan indicated he will be seeking the Attorney General's advice on disbursement of the National Government Constituency Development Fund in light of a court ruling outlawing the CDF Act of 2013, members of the National Assembly have dismissed the position, demanding speedy release of the monies.
I'm very sure CDF will be available to members because we understand it is from that kitty where students are supposed to get their bursaries back to school. What happens when we have no bursary to give to these school-going children?
Of course, there have been the bursaries that have always been given, say from the county governments and partly some from the national government, but there is none that is as representative as the CDF.
The issue of the CDF, it is the only project that we always feel the impact on the ground. If you go back to Ijara, where I've been elected, you will see CDF project across the constituency.
So in comparing the achievements of CDF in terms of development in this country, vis-a-vis even county governments, this is a fund that as members of parliament, we are going to defend.
A 5-judge bench at Supreme Court led by Chief Justice Martha Koome ruled that the CDF Act 2013 violates the principle of separation of powers, hence is unconstitutional. The lawmakers argue the NG-CDF Act of 2015 corrected the anomalies of CDF Act 2013 by making the members of parliament ex officio in the management of funds.
Kwa hivyo katika fedha hizi hakuna mahali ambayo mbunge anaweka sahihi ama hakuna mahali ambayo mbunge anaweza kusukuma aseme lazima ifanyike hivi.
Even the introduction of the NG-CDF in the case that was before the Supreme Court is an anomaly. The reason being, this was a case that was before the Supreme Court on appeal.
The MPs are now mulling a constitutional amendment to entrench the fund in the law.
If they continue this trade, the first business in house, which I will introduce, is to amend the constitution and entrench CDF to the constitution, the one they are talking about. And we have the numbers. We only require 234 members in the chamber. And I can assure you, none of the members we have in this parliament wish to be away during that amendment.
The legislators have also expressed mixed reactions over the new sharing formula for the NG-CDF, whereby 75% will be shared equitably, while 25% will be shared according to the number of wards in a constituency.
We support the formula because currently Marakwet West was receiving 137 million, so we shall be receiving 151 million in terms of CDF.
When you say now the 25% should be given according to wards, you must tell me, you must convince me that the wards that were created due to a demand that was occasioned by the population. If it is not, then I disagree with it.
In the last two parliaments, each constituency received at least 135 million shillings. The figure, however, is bound to increase or reduce with the new formula. Gishuke Washira, Prime Edition.
All right, and a section of legislators have expressed optimism that President Dr. William Ruto will fulfill his promise of allocating half of his cabinet positions to women. The lawmakers say the move will enhance Kenya's democracy. Now, Kamche Menza has more details on this.
Allocation of half of his cabinet to women is one of the promises President Dr. William Ruto made in a women's charter that his Kenya Kwanza coalition committed itself to, detailing interventions his government will put in place to actualize the 2/3 gender role.
On leadership again, I commit on behalf of Kenya Kwanza Alliance that we shall allocate 50% of all cabinet positions to the women of Kenya.
Naming the cabinet is one of the top agenda just days after his swearing in. Women leaders say they are positive that President Ruto will fulfill his promise.
I would want to tell the president that we are ready. We are up to the task. We are competent as women of Kenya.
He's going to consider, because he said, you remember there was a time the women representatives were supposed to be sent to the Senate and something was supposed to happen. But again, he said women are supposed to be in a position where when the powers are being shared, they are also being felt.
Angalia ya kwamba ikiwa Uhuru aliweka wanawake 7 ama 8, yeye lazima sasa ni wakati wa kuhakikisha kwamba ameweka 50-50, kwa sababu kina mama wanaweza na kina mama wana uwezo na kina mama wapo.
According to Article 152 of the Constitution, a cabinet should have not fewer than 14 and not more than 22 cabinet secretaries.
Mimi na imani kuwa ataweza, na ukiangalia mawizara ambazo wanawake wameshika pia zimefanya vizuri. Mimi ningemshauri tu kufikia hata ile 2/3 gender tunapigania wanawake aweze kuwaweka ile kutupa nguvu.
I hear, but this is rumors. That is now it's not going to be 50%, it's going to be 40%. So we'll watch, we'll wait for it.
The outgoing government had 8 women cabinet secretaries.
And in case it doesn't happen, then let there be a proper way of actually putting it so that everybody understands. Because what I can see is that Kenyans are very hopeful about this government.
I think it's achievable. Our president has promised in his campaign manifesto, and we support the agenda of women being in the cabinet.
We have women out there who share the dream of the Kenyan mwananchi, who are willing and capable and available to serve this country in those positions of cabinet secretaries.
With the 2/3 gender rule remaining elusive as efforts are adopted to actualize it, the 50% women seat cabinet allocation is expected to help improve women's representation at the leadership table. Kamche Menza for Easy Friday, Nairobi.
All right, then now devolution stakeholders are calling for enactment of laws for prompt payment of services rendered by businesses to the national and county governments to address accumulation of pending bills. Kenya Private Sector Alliance CEO, that's Karo Karaoke, led stakeholders in urging senators to formulate new laws and scrutinize existing ones to compel institutions to expeditiously pay entities for services rendered and ultimately end cash crunches affecting the devolved units. Gladys Mongai gives us details of the second last day of Senators' induction in Naivasha.
Consultations and, at least with Parliamentary.
The Prompt Payment Amendment Bill 2021 that received the nod of the Senate last year but flopped at the National Assembly could yet again find itself at the bicameral Parliament after devolution stakeholders call for enactment of a law to impose fines on business owners, principal secretaries and accounting officers at the counties for delaying payment to suppliers.
And so we'll be looking at the Senate to pass startup and small business laws that simplify trade and trade regimes for small businesses, and in turn will encourage informal business in all the counties to formalize. It's not good for us to be saying 80% of our businesses are in the informal sector. We want them to formalize because then they can grow.
On the final day of the Senate induction in Naivasha, stakeholders in the devolution sector claimed cash crunch experienced by businesses is one of the major reasons for the slow uptake of devolution.
Our joint endeavour, which is the overall priority, which is just to keep strengthening devolution and to make devolution work for the people of Kenya.
There's need for us to structure on how we are going to look into the issue of pending bills, and I'm happy that already there's material to start with as far as that is concerned.
We in the 4th Senate, we are going to work very hard, and I hear the commitment from all the senators to ensure that we have laws in place that will protect the entrepreneurs so that they don't get auctioned, and more so after they've done business with the government.
We are where we are because of individual decisions by individual members of the executive. There are sufficient laws in this country to guarantee prompt payment to Kenyan business people and individuals for works done and for services delivered.
During the session, senators were also taken through the newly revised standing orders and emerging trends to enhance their legislative duty.
Senator.
This as the Editors Guild challenged the Senate to deliberately put in measures and systems to ensure information is easily accessible by members of the public. As the 13th Parliament officially kicks off its business next week, the introduction and the passage of the Prompt Payment Amendment Bill will be key to ending the ever-growing nightmare of pending bills and necessitating the growth of devolution. For Channel 1 News from Naivasha, Nakuru County, I'm Gladys Mungai.
Thank you, Gladys. Now, Chief Justice Martha Koome says the judiciary is keen on establishing a robust system of magistrate courts in the constituencies to ease the cost of justice. The Chief Justice, who was speaking at the commissioning of the Nakuru County Court of Appeal, said the judiciary is keen on enhancing equitable access to justice amongst Kenyans.
While commissioning the Nakuru Court of Appeal, noted that the judiciary, in collaboration with other stakeholders, is determined to reduce the headache of case backlog.
By having a permanent Court of Appeal bench in Nakuru, we are reducing the geographical distance traveled by litigants and the cost of accessing appellate justice.
Koome further expressed optimism decentralization of judicial services will reduce case log in the High Court.
We continuously make interventions to ensure our justice system is accessible, is also cost effective, is timely, and it is efficient.
She challenged the 4 newly appointed judges to commit to hearing and determining pending cases in the Court of Appeal within 12 months. On her part, Deputy Chief Justice Philomena Mwilu asked judges of the Court of Appeal in Nakuru, Mombasa, Nyeri and Kisumu counties to expedite 116 civil appeal cases of the 474 filed in the last 2 years and another 165 criminal appeals of the 474 cases.
I urge the inaugural permanent bench of the Court of Appeal in Nakuru, please lead the way in promoting the constitutional values of human dignity and social justice. With a constituency of 29 justices, expectations are extremely high on the expeditious resolution of disputes in this court.
Nakuru County Governor Susan Kihika urged the court to fast-track litigations filed against the county government to enable smooth service delivery to the residents.
That at times our court system has been used by vexatious litigants to block county governments from collecting of lawful fees and charges or from exercising statutory responsibilities relating to planning, sanitation and enforcement of regulations. Injunctions of this nature have affected our ability to collect revenue, a key enabler to provide service to the people.
For Easy Friday, I'm Zainab Said.
All right, and you're watching Easy Friday. We are taking a breather right about now. Still on the way, we have our social media weekly. We call them the savage netizens. Still business on the way, sports a bit later. And this spotlight we'll be having Hat the Band. That's later. Keep watching. We're back in a moment.
I'm the photographer Black Milk. I have an exhibition in 8 weeks about how things get better with time. Darling Fluffy Kinky inspired me. I'm seeing how the twists blend with her hair over time. How she actually feels more confident. She's really more beautiful every week. That's definitely worth celebrating. Darling Fluffy Kinky. Twists that get better every day, just like you.
I thought maybe it was Juju. What? Juju? Is there anything like Juju in the first place? Well, Juju maybe amelongwa.
Wacha kingora na bige kelele. Na biga nduru. Mama katoka mbio.
Oh, a second ago you were begging for my help and now suddenly I'm useless?
Wenda huko.
Theophilus, I won't allow you to demean other students. But if you push it, you will be staring at your suspension.
I don't buy threats anymore. I have a bigger problem than a college suspension.
Differently.
I was told about this vetting by a colleague in the office for people with a disability, of people who are enabled differently.
You find that these people living with disabilities, they have also children. Some of them are disabled, some of them are just normal, but they are not able to access some of these resources. One reason is they are not aware because they look at themselves as minority.
Differently abled, differently.
All right, welcome back to Easy Friday. Still staying on the corridors of justice, a Nairobi court has ordered the extradition of Abdul Rahman Imran Juma to the United States to face 61 counts of money laundering charges. Juma is suspected to be a co-conspirator of Nigerian Instagram influencer Ramon Abbas and an international gang that targets unsuspecting businessmen to commit wire fraud and aggregated identity theft. The court will, on Monday, the 26th of this month, rule on his application to be given 15 days to appeal against that particular extradition order.
or suspected of being in Kenya shall be made to the minister by a diplomatic representative.
Senior Principal Magistrate Robinson Ondieki ordered that Abdul Rahman Imran Juma be extradited to the United States, noting that there was no evidence presented to justify his fear of not getting a fair trial there. Imran, who is facing 61 counts of money laundering, is an alleged member of an international fraud scheme that defrauded $1.12 million from an investor who had committed $15 million to build an international school in Qatar. He is said to have collaborated with Nigerian Instagram influencer Ramon Abbas, alias Hashpapi, to commit the crime between November 2019 and April 2020. In the case filed at the U.S. District Court for the Central District of California, Juma faces 61 counts of money laundering, conspiracy to commit wire fraud, and aggravated identity theft. A report presented before the court states that Imran dropped from school due to transit. 3 of his alleged conspirators have been indicted at the U.S. and are awaiting trial. Through his lawyer Kiraithe Wandungi, Imran sought 15 days to allow him appeal for extension of bail terms, but the prosecution objected, saying he will be committed to the Gigiri police station pending extradition. Judge Ondieki will Monday, the 26th of September 2022, rule on whether Imran will be given the 15 days before he is surrendered. Meanwhile, the Court of Appeal has stayed the execution of a ruling and orders issued by Justice Alfred Mabea on the 14th of April 2022 that appointed Kereto Mariam of KR Consult Limited as the administrator of Mumia Sugar Company Limited. A 3-judge bench comprising Asike Makandi, Jamila Mohammed and Sankale Olekantai acknowledged the apprehension by KCB Limited and Ponangpali Venkata Ramana Rao that their rights as secured creditors will diminish if Kereto Marima's appointment is not stayed and that his actions could negatively impact their securities. Abdulkhair Mohammed for Easy Friday.
And easy access to social media platforms has granted netizens in Kenya and beyond an avenue to add their voice to various issues of interest. Now, a case in point, I remember this was the photo of a section of presidents, African and that, boarding buses in the United Kingdom to attend the funeral service of Queen Elizabeth II. Now, Teresa Mutai has this week's dose of savage netizens. This is the Social Media Weekly.
Transportation by bus is a common means of movement for most Kenyans. But what was savage netizens' take when some of the presidents were asked to hop onto the bus in the UK? Let's find out.
The picture of some presidents being ferried in buses while others got a rather special treatment caught wildfires on social media realms. Most of the netizens were infuriated and took to social media to call out the double standards. Olu tweeted, "Africa should get her house in order and stop mourning. Amo, they must take the buses when they are in their homeland as well."
Hii maneno nimeona sio mazuri. Wacha nilie kwanza.
However, this outrageous move, as some would say so, provided netizens with a chance to make hilarious content. Winston tweeted, "Oya, presidents watatu basi jae. Deno, Makanga alikuwa nani?"
Jesus! Look at you.
Well, our President Dr. William Ruto made his maiden speech at the 77th session of the United Nations General Assembly in New York, and it was music to Kenyan netizens' ears.
It brought into sharp focus the global economy's 2-lane highway, repressively patrolled by a rising tide of exclusionist nationalism.
Makofi. Hiyo ni Kiingereza tupu.
Ali Nur Mohammed tweeted, "The speech by President Dr. William Ruto at the UN Assembly is on another level. Very eloquent. Always give credit where it's due." Musiemi, President Ruto is making that speech offhand, or is he reading from somewhere? 130N, Uskia Dina Shangarada, laughing emoji.
Boniface, the speech by President Dr. William Ruto at the UN Assembly is on another level. Clapping emoji. Mackenzie wondering with 44 others too. And the tweet by Dr. Miguna announcing his return did not go unnoticed.
I'm coming home where I belong.
Owen tweeted, "The man from Toronto is finally coming. Alex, freedom is here with us. Raz, welcome back home generally."
Hey y'all, come look at this.
Ni sherehe kubwa sana, hata siwezi kusema mengi. Thank you very important.
Fred tweeted, "Early morning, I feel it's gotta be a good day." Manu, who is only looking for trouble, tweeted, "Kuja uniapishe turudishwe wawili." And that is our weekly dose of savage netizens. Well, that's it for us this Friday. Catch you next week on Savage Netizens. For Easy Friday, I am Teresa Mutai.
Yeah, you can always trust these savage netizens to come up with hilarious sentiments on these different issues. Always light moments. Love that one. The Social Media Weekly. Now let's give you a roundup of news from the counties where members of the Mombasa County Assembly have been urged to diligently serve the electorate to steer growth in the county. Speaking after taking oath of office for the third time as Mombasa County Assembly Speaker Harub Khatri emphasized the need of working together as a team, even as he promised to execute his mandate in accordance with the law. Timothy Kipnusu has more details of this.
Harub Khatri has for the third time retained his speaker position at the Mombasa County Assembly. After 9 of his opponents were disqualified from the race, the 9 failed to submit the duly filed nomination papers with the requisite documents as per the deadline issued. After taking the oath of office after the swearing in of the county assembly members, Harub reiterated he will endeavor to serve the residents of Mombasa to the best of his knowledge and to the members in the house without fear or favor.
We must exercise servant leadership where we care about both people and results. Our diversity should be our strength by embracing and respecting our differences in all our transactions.
Siasa tumewacha kando, tumekuja hapa ni kuhudumia wananchi wetu.
I'm looking forward to serve my people diligently the way I served them.
And Bomet County has received a major boost after the Aga Khan Hostel opened a branch in the county in a move tailored at improving the health services.
We are welcoming all people of Bomet County to come and visit our new facility and access our services there.
Bomet Governor Hilary Barchok has lauded the initiative, saying it will ease the burden for patients who always travel to Nairobi or Kisumu to look for specialists.
Having private investors, particularly in the area of health, we are not competing in any way, but we are complementing each other.
Elsewhere, the body of a 37-year-old woman will continue being preserved at the Kisii Teaching and Referral Hostel mortuary after the Kisii High Court dismissed a case seeking a portion of land for her burial.
Lakini kwa vile mahakama bado imesema marehemu hana haki ya kukua katika hilo shamba, sasa itabidi tutaenda tena tuite wazee ambao ni wenye kijiji wakae.
Justice Ogo dismissed the application by clan elders who want the court to grant part of the disputed parcel of land at Iteresi Mwabundusu village, which the deceased had been claiming ownership after alleging it had been fraudulently acquired by 4 individuals.
Ana mahali pa kuzikwa kwa sababu hiyo samba ndio iliua yeye, na hakuwa na samba wakati alikuwa anapigania apate hiyo samba, mwisho akawawa. Kwa hivyo tunaomba kama hii serikali yetu tukufu ifuatilie hiyo maneno kuhusu na maneno mataita otiti ya uongo ambayo imetengenezwa.
Finally, Taita Taveta County Governor Andrew Mwadime now says his administration will fast track the processing and issuance of title deeds for all public institutions in the county in a bid to enhance future expansion and development of the education sector.
And we shall ensure that all
public institutions within this country, they have their own title deeds.
Already, the county government has handed over a title deed for Taita Taveta University in Gerenyi campus, which specializes in agriculture and environmental sciences.
That title deed has come out, and today you'll have it. And at the same time, also Kemfrey institution in Gerenyi, they didn't have the title deed.
Timothy Kipnosu for Easy Friday.
And we are shifting gears now. We're speaking business in the next couple of minutes. Caroline Jenga has all the details, latest sports, and the spotlight. You have every reason to stick around. This is Easy Friday.
Kupata Zaburi 18 mstari wa pili, dial *811 *817#. Mwenyezi Mungu ni mwamba wangu, ngome yangu na mkombozi wangu. Mungu wangu, mwamba wangu ninayemkimbilia ninapohitaji kuwa salama. Zaburi 18 mstari wa pili. Zaburi 18 mstari wa pili, dial *811 *817#. *811 *817#.
Thomas, after the hell the Samoan werewolf Fatu put to you, you wish to enter in again. Abandon. You want to take that risk with your family sitting at home, worried about if Daddy is going to be all right. Your children's tears are going to be on your head, and Fatu's hand is going to be on your throat.
Tom Lawler, this ain't no Figure 4 podcast.
Well, I hope that you're having an easy Friday. My name is Caroline Jenga, and we take a look at today's business news. Now, smallholder farmers have started getting the subsidized fertilizer consignment, targeting those in areas experiencing short rains. They are, however, concerned that middlemen in the distribution value chain could undermine the objective of the program that is meant to lower cost of food production. Here is Regina Manyara with the details.
The price of fertilizer rose to 7,000 shillings per bag early this year in what was blamed on the Russia-Ukraine war that disrupted the fertilizer supply chain. This has prompted the government to subsidize fertilizer to make it affordable.
The government has commenced consultations with key actors and stakeholders to ensure quality, affordable and accessible fertilizer that will be available to all farmers across our great nation.
On Thursday, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua flagged off a consignment of subsidized fertilizer targeting smallholder farmers in areas experiencing short rains for cropping. The fertilizer is already at some national cereals and produce board depots.
Mbolea hapa cereals tunapata kulingana na ile register yako. Tuliregister na Ministry of Agriculture. Acreage ikawekwa, sasa kila mkulima anajulikana hako na eka ngapi na anatakikana kupata mbolea ngapi.
In Kisii, a total of 560 bags has been received, with another 10,000 bags of the subsidized fertilizer expected in the course of next week.
Kuna sehemu nyingine nimepanda na kuna sehemu nyingine ninahitajika nipande. Tunafurahia sana.
In Migori County, smallholder farmers welcome the distribution of the subsidized fertilizer by the government and call for inclusion of top-dressing fertilizer like CAN and urea in the subsidy program.
Tupalilia ya mahindi yetu tuweze kunyunyuzia mbolea ya CAN iweze ikatusaidia kuzalisha mahindi mingi ambayo itatusaidia sisi kwa kutumia na kwa kuuza.
In Laikipia County, farmers said the consignment that was received was insufficient.
Nalimia hapa kwa shamba ya jeshi. Niko na eka 4 na nilikuwa nataka mifuko kama 8 hivi.
Kwa hivyo watu ni wengi na batakongania.
In Bungoma County, those we spoke to in Malaba said the subsidized fertilizer was yet to be received.
Kuangalia mbolea ambayo ilisemekana inakuja, lakini tumejaribu kukaa hapa kungojea mbolea mpaka sasa hatujapata.
Serikali atusaidie ili mbolea iweze ikafika mahali hapa.
UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has warned that the world would run out of food if the fertilizer market was not stabilized, recommending the sanctions on Russia be lifted to address the shortage. Regina Manyara reporting for Easy Friday.
Now to a story that has been making headlines for the better part of the day. 4 edible oils manufacturers have been asked to remove any remaining suspended products from the shelf. According to the Kenya Bureau of Standards, 10 edible oils and fats products from Bidco Africa Limited, Kappa Oil Refineries, Pwani Oils and Menengai Oil Refineries did not meet the health standards and remain suspended until corrective measures are put in place.
The Kenya Bureau of Standards have temporarily suspended select products from 4 edible fats and oils companies. In a letter sent to retailers, the standard body said a few batches from 10 edible fats and oils from Bidco Africa, Kappa Oil Refineries, Pwani Oils and Menengai Oil Refineries are not fit for human consumption. KBC say it suspended the brands after recently carrying out sample analysis on the said brands on different retail outlets. However, the 4 manufacturers have told KBC that they have removed the affected batches from the shelves and they are also testing the products to comply with the set standards. Although acknowledging the affected manufacturers are putting in corrective measures, KBC has asked the retail outlets to comply with the suspension and remove the affected brands from their supply chain until the body is satisfied with the manufacturers' corrective measures. KBC and the affected manufacturers will continue testing consignment of the affected brands to ensure the products conform with the safety standards. This is KBC's latest health advisory placed on foodstuffs yet, after the standard body ordered 14 maize brands to be removed from the shelves for failing to meet health standards late last year. Benson Rioba reporting for Easy Friday.
The Kenya Private Sector Alliance, KEPSA, has partnered with the International Chamber of Commerce, Kenya, on a program to sensitize and educate the private sector on alternative dispute resolution as an option for litigation. They say with increased investment in infrastructure, real estate and construction in Kenya, and the opening of new markets and industries, unprecedented legal and corporate challenges have sprung up that could be resolved quickly through alternative dispute resolution.
Globally, businesses are embracing alternative dispute resolution mechanisms due to the ability to swiftly resolve disputes. According to the International Chamber of Commerce Kenya chapter, the nascent industry is taking off, driven by the surge in international trade and investments.
Majority of cases, as I said, go to arbitration. We also now have major international commercial arbitrations taking place in Kenya because of the various disputes in infrastructure, because of the investment that's coming into the country, and because of the huge proliferation now of international institutions in Kenya, ICC Kenya being one of them.
More businesses are believed to be embracing alternative dispute resolution and arbitration in place of litigation that is seen to be costlier.
Advise the private sector to have confidence in mediation and arbitration. I would say to them, insert a clause in your contract. Make sure it's not a last-minute clause. Make sure it's not what they call a midnight clause. Take the time to understand what arbitration is.
They are also pushing to grow the number of local practitioners through trainings.
ICC dispute resolution for Africa does in Africa is capacity building for lawyers, for clients of arbitration as well. You know, companies to raise awareness within the ranks of our clients that you can actually have your arbitration with a seat somewhere in Africa.
The International Chamber of Commerce is also working closely with the Kenya Private Sector Alliance on policy and advocacy, as well as linking members to the global business community, exposing them to an array of business opportunities.
Now we move on to other stories making headlines this evening. Members of the country, or rather Boeing wars, deepened further after the plane maker was fined $200 million by U.S. authorities. Now the Securities and Exchange Commission found Boeing guilty of concealing material information about the safety of its 737 MAX planes that led to the death of 346 people, among them 32 Kenyans departing from Ethiopia in 2019. Now Boeing former chief Dennis Malinberg will also pay a fine of $1 million for making false statements about safety issues.
On the 29th of October 2018, Lion Air Flight 610 nosedived into the Java Sea 13 minutes after taking off from Indonesia's Soekarno-Hatta International Airport, killing all 189 passengers and crew. Boeing shortly after released a statement assuring all concerned parties that the 737 MAX airplanes were safe to fly. Less than 5 months later, Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302, another Boeing 737 MAX on its way to Kenya, crashed 6 minutes after leaving Ethiopia's capital, Addis Ababa. All 157 people on board were killed. The victims included 32 Kenyans who died in the crash. This led to a probe that saw the aerospace company being grounded for 20 months as investigations continued over the details of the crashes. The two crashes happened in a span of 4 months, involving a flight control function called the Maneuvering Characteristics Augmentation System. According to the SEC, after the first crash, Boeing and Mullenberg knew that the MCAs posed an ongoing airplane safety issue. The SEC further says the penalty would serve to show that public companies and executives must always provide full, fair, and truthful disclosures to the markets. The aviation giant had already paid out more than $20 billion, including payments to the families affected in the crashes.
Now we focus on the latest from the corporate front. Exide batteries have become the first product made in Kenya to be exported under the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. The batteries made by Associated Battery Manufacturing Limited have been shipped to Ghana in a pilot phase involving 7 African countries under the tutelage of the African Union to deepen intra-Africa trade. Here are the details of that story and more.
This year, Kenya became one of the 6 countries selected to pilot the Continental Free Trade Area that seeks to unlock the movement of goods and services in Africa. Also picked to champion the trial phase is Tanzania, Tunisia, Cameroon, Egypt, and Ghana. Under the deal, Kenya will trade selected products in automobiles, agro-processing, manufacturing, and construction materials. Today, Kenya made its first export under the Continental Free Trade Agreement after exporting locally made Exide batteries to Ghana. The export, which were done under a pilot phase, saw batteries land at the port of Tema in Ghana. The batteries are the first batch of products that Kenya seeks to export regionally, with the country also expected to add tea, confectionery, leather bags, incinerators, beaded products, vehicular filters, textile, sisal fiber, avocados, and fresh produce to its list of export products. Elsewhere, the government has been encouraged to reduce tax on construction materials to help the private sector contribute to the government's plan to construct 250,000 housing units annually.
Everything that we use in construction is mostly quite heavily taxed. For the government's ambition of building affordable houses and releasing 250,000 in the market, then there is need to relook at this taxation structure and be able to normalize this to ensure that these costs are then not passed through to the buyers of the houses.
Gishangi was speaking during the 450 housing unit groundbreaking ceremony at Miran in Kiambu. Once complete, the mixed housing units will retail at between 3.2 to 6.5 million shillings. Finally, residents of Kitengela and its environs will experience interrupted power supply following the commissioning of EPZ substation by Kenya Power. The station, which will be commissioned on Sunday, will see Kitengela and adjacent areas make do without power from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. to allow the reconnection of all customers back to the EPZ substation. Benson Rioba reporting for Easy Friday.
Well, that roundup by Benson Rioba brings to a close business news for tonight. But you can find more stories on our website at kbc.co.ke, the business section. Have a good night. My name is Caroline Jenger.
All right, then, thank you, Caroline, for that. We'll be speaking sports in not too long. Mr. Munga is on standby to brief us on that. But as we had mentioned at the beginning of this bulletin, that the CBC is here to stay, according to Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, who said that the soon to be unveiled task force on the new competency-based curriculum will look into it with the objective of correcting the hiccups experienced so far and not to abolish it. Gachagua asked education stakeholders, including parents, to turn up and present their views when called upon by the task force. Wycliffe Okech has details on this.
The closure of the week-long 94th edition of the National Music Festival saw the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua as the chief guest make his first official visit to Kisumu town, where he assured the country of the government's commitment to impartial distribution of resources for development across the country.
We want to confirm to the people of Nyanza that the Ruto administration will serve all Kenyans, those who elected us and those who did not. And all parts of Kenya will get development equally because we are leaders for the whole country.
Rigathi also sought to address the anxiety over the future of competency-based curriculum, ruling out plans to abolish it.
Our new government will very soon be unveiling a task force to look at educational reforms, including CBC, with a view not of abolishing it, but reviewing it, so that we retain what is good and improve what is causing concern.
Citing a nexus between the music extravaganza and the new curriculum, the Deputy President rooted for its funding to harness talents that can enrich the country's gross domestic products.
And going forward, very soon, we'll roll out a program on how to harness the talent and the creativity of our young people and slowly and gradually turn it into a source of income and a contribution to our GDP.
On his part, Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha warned the school heads against sending learners home as schools reopen next week to enable candidates prepare for the national examinations.
And this term is the examination term. And by the same note, I would like to plead with the head teachers and school principals to ensure that none of our beautiful children is taken out of school during this term.
For Easy Friday from Kisumu County, I am Wycliffe Okech.
What is PCOS?
What is PCOS?
Yes.
PCOS, as you said, is a very long name. First of all, if you can break it down, it's poly, and then cystic, and then syndrome. Poly coming from Latin meaning many, and then cystic, where you have small cysts, because if you talk about cyst per se, it's slightly different. The sizes of what we are looking at are very tiny, about 10, 11 millimeters, whereas cysts in the real definition in medicine, they are a lot bigger, about 3 centimeters or more.
Maybe you could share with us some of the symptoms that you were experiencing with PCOS.
Okay, so for me, the reason I went to get a diagnosis was I was not getting pregnant.
our question 4, people category. Genius yoyo. Hata sijasoma swali.
Wrong answer.
That answer is wrong. Hapa sasa mambo imechacha. Watu wangu mko tayari? 10 seconds to answer the question. The only show in East Africa ambayo unaweza pata a second chance hata after umekosea. Patrick Jiro is popular for what sport? Great team. Is that the correct answer?
Wrong answer.
Aluta Fontimua.
Oh, good evening, and as always, it is an honor to have your company for the KBC Sports Update with me, Richard Munga. Now, Cheptil Boys High School sealed a Kenyan sweep of volleyball titles after beating holders Tahiza of Uganda 3-1 as the curtains came down on this year's edition of the East African Secondary School Sports Association Games in Arusha, Tanzania. The Kenyan team snatched the title from former champions Tahiza School of Uganda after winning in sets of 21-25, 25-20, 25-23, 25-23. Meanwhile, Uganda maintained dominance in the football matches played today. The matches were played at the Sheikh Amir Abeid Stadium in Arusha City Centre. Debutants Highway School of Kenya lost 2-0 in the boys' match against Kibuli Secondary School of Uganda. Wieta Girls High School also settled for the second spot in the girls' football match after losing 2-1 to St. Noah Girls Secondary School of Uganda. Meanwhile, 8 women groups, that is in Kirema sub-county, have called on the Laikipia County government to rehabilitate existing sports stadia in the region to enable them to participate in sporting activities. The women intend to use sports as a tool that will help deal with tribalism, enhance the physical and mental exercise, and also help tackle health challenges that come with poor nutrition as well as body weight.
Their meetings in Olmoran Trading Center, the women asserted that they manage to meet at least once a week, and this provides them with an opportunity to exchange ideas, address critical issues affecting girl-child, among them gender-based violence and early pregnancies, among others.
Football imekuwa game poa kwa hasa kwa vijana, wasichana na pia kwa community. Sababu wakati wanacheza tunaweza kucreate amani kwa kila tribes.
The women observed that through their sport they learn so much more about conflict management and resolution, which offers a proper reflection on their day-to-day lives.
Tunaweza kuongea pamoja kuhusiana pengine na maendeleo, na pengine sisi wa mama mtu huwa ana face pengine challenges akiwa kwake, lakini wakati umekutana na mama mwingine pengine wa jamii tofauti, mnaweza kuongea pamoja, mnaongea pamoja na mnachea, na wakati huo ni njia moja ya kurelease ile stress yenye uko naye.
Kupitia ile hali ambayo ilitokea ya ukosefu wa usalama, tukawa tumesimama kwa muda, lakini saa hii tunamshukuru Mungu kwa sababu mambo yamerudi normal, na kwa hivyo tunatarajia kurudia mazoezi tena.
Nikiwaomba tu watu join, tuwe tunacheza, hata tunaenda bari, hata inter-counties, tuwe tunatembelea counties zingine.
They have called on the government to support them with playing kits and balls to enhance their training. Nora Mwangi for Easy Friday.
Now on to news making headlines. Globally, former World Cup winning footballer Kago will make his debut at the Berlin Marathon this Sunday. The Brazilian, who played for Real Madrid and AC Milan before retiring in 2017, said his father's struggle with COVID-19 had inspired him to run the race. Kago said marathons were a particularly special sporting event because amateurs can take part side by side with professionals. Kago said he was hoping to run a time of under 4 hours. World record holder Eliud Kipchoge, defending champion Guye Adola, 2015 World Marathon champion Girmay Gebreselassie, Makurir and Jene Dibella are expected to take part in the event this Sunday. Well, that's all the time we had for sports tonight, but just a reminder, the UEFA Nations League continues tonight. Three matches, a couple of matches, of course, headlining tonight's schedule. You have Italy taking on England. You have Germany, of course, hosting Hungary, while Romania will be playing away to Finland. Details of that as well as the results. For that, be sure to stay tuned into a subsequent sports bulletins. Well, I'm Richard Munga. Do have a good night. But for now, over to you, John Kago.
Thank you, Munga, for that update, and of course throughout the weekend bringing an update of all the sporting details happening. The first part of Easy Friday, done and dusted. We're coming to the interesting bit. This is the spotlight. We make it musical, dance, and tonight, Shiksha is not around, has taken a break, but we'll be back in a couple of weeks. So Vivian Ndegwa is handling the brief, and we are hosting none other than Drums Rolling Hot, the band tonight. You're going to stick around for that. A lot of melodious music coming your way in not too long, so stand by for that. So on behalf of the team, my name is John Kago. This has been Easy Friday. Good night, so long.
Hundreds converge at Jamhuri High School in Nairobi to celebrate the Festival of Inspiration. The Festival of Inspiration marks 100 years since the birth of Pramukh Swami Maharaj.
Commemoration of centennial birth anniversary of our beloved Guru, His Holiness Pramukh Swami Maharaj. And this time around we have decided to extend our invitation to all the communities personally.
To say that this festival occurs once in a lifetime would not also be something that I'm exaggerating, because in my 28 years I've never seen something like this happening in Nairobi and in Kenya.
I see no problem coming from Thika to Nairobi. In fact, those 45 minutes is actually nothing. Pramukh Swami Maharaj went to hundreds of villages, in fact thousands of villages, every single day. At least here I will still come and have proper meals. My Guru Pramukh Swami Maharaj never had even time to sit down and have a meal.
To commence the festivity, hundreds gather at the grand entrance to the Festival of Inspiration. Armed with wind and percussion instruments, a music band followed by the Lazim band leads a grand procession to commemorate the Guru. The Lazim band is followed by women and young ladies carrying pots on their heads.
That pot represents nectar. So it represents that there is nectar inside that pot, and it brings a lot of good luck and auspiciousness to whatever ceremony. That could be a celebration, it could be a wedding ceremony, but whenever there is that kind of traditional ceremony, you have those pots because they bring good luck.
Those who follow carry holy scriptures on their heads.
And it is believed that the word of God is also the form of God. And to show utmost respect to God, that's why we carry him on our head, to show that he's the most important thing for us.
The procession passes through the Sage Garden, where images erected represent devotees who inspired myriads of people across the world. Once the procession comes to a halt,
what happens in the Aarti is that they light diyas, wicks, and they take it around the murti, the image of God. And it is believed that the divinity of the images, the blessings from the image, is captured in the flame of the fire. And then at the end of it, devotees would go to the fire and touch the fire, and they would place that hand to their eyes and to the head. It means that you have received the blessing of God.
the ritual dates back to ancient times when temples were non-existent. In India, it is performed every day in the evening.
The image of God was placed in the mountains, in the caves, where there was no natural light penetrating through. So the priests, like you saw the people in white clothes, would actually go there twice a day, and they would perform the Aarti ritual. They would light the lamps and take the Aarti around the image of God so that everyone can see the image of God and offer their respects to God.
In this instance, when they take the light to the water, they pay respect to the Guru.
Pramukh Swami Maharaj passed on in 2016. He was the fifth spiritual guru of the BAPS Swami Narayan Hindu sect, which is said to have more than 1 million devotees. He led the sect steadfastly for 45 years and expanded it internationally and in India. At the same time, he was responsible for the construction of hundreds of temples around the world.
Everything about Pramukh Swami Maharaj was great. His love for humanity and mankind was as vast as an ocean. His devotion to God was as tall as a mountain. And he was also very vast in his virtues, very deep. And that's why, to celebrate and to glorify everything that was great about Pramukh Swami Maharaj, we have this great image of Pramukh Swami Maharaj that is placed here, so that everyone can get inspiration to become great like he was.
Later on, an assembly is held showcasing various programs including prayers, teachings and cultural performances dedicated to Swami Maharaj. Happening concurrently is an exhibition that showcases the life and works of Swami Maharaj in a creative perspective. Those in attendance have the opportunity to enjoy Indian cuisine, spiritual readings, devotional singing, video shows, among others. Kenya is the third country in Africa to commemorate Swami Maharaj after Uganda and Tanzania. The Festival of Inspiration will then head to Johannesburg in South Africa and Malawi. In the months of December and January, the celebrations will culminate in India.
Hundreds of volunteers, if not over 1,000, from across many centers in Kenya. We have volunteers from Nairobi, from Mombasa, Kisumu, Kakamega, Eldoret, Bomet, and Narok who've come here today to do something small they can for His Holiness Pramukh Swami Maharaj. That in itself shows that Pramukh Swami Maharaj has touched the life of each and everyone such that they can come here, sacrifice their time, and use all their energy just so that we can celebrate the life of His Holiness Pramukh Swami Maharaj.
Every success in my life is through Pramukh Swami Maharaj. So I need to honor his life, his legacy, by keeping his motto in my life, in the joy of others lies our own.
You know, without caring for yourself, being selfless, that is the first one, which is basically his entire life. And truthfulness, sticking to your vows and sticking to your promises. So everything I am doing right now is to make sure I gain something spiritually.
In the joy of others lies our own. So I'd like to do more community work, be more helpful, be more kind.
Festival is inspiring people to have the value of servitude in their life. And I've gained the value as well.
Reporting for My Culture, I'm Jackie Wambiru.
Jacks. In the mix. In the mix.
Shambani nikalipe mahari tuishi kwa amani nikikutazama moyo ayoyoma kipenzi chako roho na huyana nikikutazama moyo ayoyoma
when I'm with you I find myself and without you
I lose myself, oh baby, cause you're my favorite. Sweetie, sweetie, minado, usinifanya kwako desperado. Mapenzi saa zingine huwa skando, lakini hakuna kitu hatuwezi handle. It takes two to tango, na simanishi mpango wa kando. Mapenzi tamu kama sweet mango, karibia tucheze bango. My desire, yeah, your love is all I require. For your love I never tire, baby. Wala tusione haya, hadharani tukipendana, kwani ndani tulishazama zamani. Baby, for your love I fight for you. Baby, for your love I'll do anything for you. Baby, for your love I fight for you. Nataka unifunze adabu, penzi langu tamu kama madafu. Nipe hilo penzi la ajabu.
Cold Jazz.
Songa karibu yangu mami. Nifunze adabu. Usinipimie. Ua limechanua, ukikawia nitanyauka. Jua kabisha mvua, nimegundua utaniua. Wanipagawisha. Long time it's been kuna kiangazi.
Hey, it's a party in here. I'm actually having so much fun. A warm welcome to each and everyone who is tuning in. My name is Vivian Degwa, or you can simply just call me Miss V. Now today, I am sitting in for the gorgeous Shiksha Arora. I am specifically so excited about tonight's spotlight because the guests who are in studio are among my favorite guests, by the way, just to mention. Now, these three lads have been in the music scene for years, about a decade or so, or even more, and they have done numerous songs that we love. They have done amazing songs from Kayole to the world. They have been on stages in Kenya and across the borders, from songs such as Rosella, Uliza Kiat, which of course we all love, My Jaber, El Shaddai, you name it. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce to you guys the Hat, the band. How are you doing? Naona luku yani ambahatishi. You guys look so good.
Kayole to the world.
Kindly introduce yourselves individually.
Yeah, man. So I go by the name of Skoko, aka Abednego, aka son of a butcher mwenyewe from Kayole Lesho, 1960. Big up.
My name is Kenneth Muya, aka Kenches Muya, aka Chief. Yeah, from Hat the Band, singer-songwriter. Yeah.
All right.
And my name is Mordecai Dex Kamakawa, singer-songwriter. Happy to be here, man.
All right, it's so good to have you guys here. Now, I'm sure there's so many people who don't really know the story of how Hat the Band came to be.
Yeah.
If you guys don't mind just narrating the story, kidogo too. I understand Kenches and Mordecai met, used to be actors, mkifanya set books.
Yeah,
so kindly just, no, Kenches and Skoko, sorry.
Yeah,
tell us about that.
So I think the story begins 10 years ago. Hapa tu nyuma hapa, Kenya National Theatre. So me and Ken, we were just from doing set books. Tulikuwa tunafanya hizo traveling theatre. And then now we came to the theatre kujaribu kuona kama tunaweza get movies, ama plays hapa kwa theatre, just to try and build our brands.
Yeah.
And that's when we met Mordecai. He was auditioning us for a certain play. Walikuwa wanafanya.
They had a group.
Yeah, walikuwa na group ingine. So Mordecai alikuwa ndio ana audition watu. So after the play, that's when now we started jamming. Tulikuwa tuna jam pamoja as we were waiting for another show. So hiyo kujam, hiyo kuinteract, Mordecai akiwa poet hizo siku, ndio tukaget kuona kuna synergy. So hiyo kuendelea tu kujam na kutry kupushiana, kubuild the craft. Watu wakoza, hey, you guys, what's the name of your band? And we are like, hey, it's not actually a band, we're just artists wenye tuna work pamoja.
Yeah.
But the more people continued asking us the name of our band, tukozileza maybe there's something here. And voila, here we are 10 years later at the band.
Going strong. 10 years. It's exactly 10 years?
Yeah, it's 10 years.
Oh, so, okay.
Years. Yeah,
I see.
Years.
So the name Hat the Band. I've never really quite known where exactly. So why Had the Band?
Why Had the Band? Now, we were looking for a name that could comprise everything that we were doing. Because before we met, each one of us were doing different kind of art. He was drawing, he was doing poetry, I was playing guitar and other fashion stuff. So we were looking for a name that could carry the entire the three characters of us. So Had the Band is the underscore is the bridge between the heart and the art. Yes.
I see H_ at the band.
Yes. All kind of art from the art. Heart.
From the heart.
Hapa kidogo niende huko Maya Coast.
Kidogo, you're about to tell us where you're from. Anywho, so you guys have been in the industry for 10 years.
Yes.
Just how has that journey been for you?
I mean, it's been nothing but growth. Journey. Personally, every single day is like a new day for us to be better than we were yesterday. And that's how we've taken it. A day at a time, a year at a time, you know, an experience at a time, a lesson at a time, you know. So when we started out, when you meskia, we were doing a lot of things, you know. And slowly by slowly, just things started, you know, shaping. You know, we started knowing now what exactly we're supposed to be doing. We started being more deliberate, you know. And we've grown from just being artists who perform in the streets to entrepreneurs, you know, and people who do business, you know. So like it's been growth, yani, and it's still beginning, yani ndio kama tu tumeanza bado.
Speaking about growth, one thing I have to mention is how your style has evolved. Because nowadays I see you guys moving more on the dapper side. Kuna venye tu yani luku. So tell us about that change in your style.
Yeah, you know, before you find yourself I always say how you dress in a portray who you are. So for us, we believe that we used to love colors and we still love colors. But for now, we feel ni kama our fans need to kutujua zaidi more than just music. Ukienda ukipata na mtu si lazima akuulize who are you. Ni automatic tu, yani you're an artist. So and also pia vile miaka zimekuwa zikisonga ni each and every day unajua ya jana ikuweza ya kesho lazima ikuwe better. So
So you have a stylist who you work with on these looks. Ama nyinyi wenyewe ndo ma stylist. I understand you are a fashion person. So
can be a fashionista. Yeah, but also we have our own line that we are working on. Inaitwa Warrior. So Warrior ndio unaona tumevaa yani ndio tuna try in a few maybe months or weeks or years to come tutakuwa tuna launch to the people so that jua tu tuuliza mnabaingi wapi nguo. Sasa unashindwa kumwambia umeishona.
Ya kushonwa bro.
Mpeleka mtu akafanya mambo yake embroidery unajua.
Mambo umeshona na kuambia naweza ipata wapi. So we are working on that. Pole tu.
Okay, we look forward to that. So I would love to know, before you guys had Uliza Kiatu, which was your breakthrough song, how many songs had you done before that?
Written.
Now, nice question. The first song. In fact, matter of fact, that was the first song we ever released to the public.
Yes.
No, that was the first song ever?
It was the first song we ever recorded in studio.
How lucky are you guys that your first song was the song?
God. But unajua before your song si ati hatuko tumeandika before. Tulikuwa tunaandika songs. But hiyo song ndio ilikuwa an honest piece. Najani juu ilikuwa ile kitu tunapitia hiyo particular time. Hizo ma struggles as an upcoming artist. Una try to get kwa gig, hauna hiyo fare, una try mazee to make things work as work, unaona. So hiyo song ilikuwa tu ina express hiyo frustration. Na anytime tulikuwa tunaimba watu walikuwa wanasema pia hao.
I think pia walikuwa wanapitia the same story.
Uliza Kiatu ilikuwa ni kwa sababu ya viatu za Mordekai.
In fact tumeandikia tu hapa theater. Tuko hizo manini. Kiatu yangu ilikuwa na nini?
A story to tell.
A story to tell.
It was not a laughing matter.
It was laughing, literally.
Yeah man, so like I just was this story ingekuwa na hii kiatu ingekuwa na story ingeweza kubonga tu yani the things it would say, you know, and that's also unajua Kenya ni a walking nation. Tuko natoka east yani Kayole ukitembea yani kutoka Oyole ukikamtao una realize you are so many, mko wengi sana, watu wengi sana,
walking nation.
Walking nation, unajua. So like that just I guess ili resonate sana na wase. That's why ili breakthrough for us, man. Thank you for supporting, man.
You're most welcome. Now that your very first song to be released was your breakthrough song, oops. What does it take to make timeless music? Because I feel like most of your songs are kind of timeless. Iliza Kiatu, you can hear it in the background. Ikichezwa, someone can still very much relate with it. So what does it take to make classic music?
I would say authenticity and being real. Just saying how it is, unajua.
Honesty.
Honesty.
Yeah, and also unajua pia when you tell a story about struggles, leo shida zako zikiisha imaanishi za mtu mwingine zimeisha. Unaona leo ukiwa uko na happiness imaanishi happiness ya mtu mwingine ataipata kesho. So venye anasema tu hiyo authenticity, hiyo honesty, na pia being able to tell a story. Unajua it's also about being able to tell a story that mtu akisikia tu hapo mse akisema well you see love makes you do crazy things, anakuwa curious about
what next.
Jamaa anataka kusema nini, unaona. So and then you tell them a very good story.
And then maybe melody wise just being real to yani instead of copying just emulate. Unajua people using just see copy paste and then do. So you just try be yourself more than
and also I think poetry also played a big part, especially in Zakiatu, because I think that's the X factor, something that I don't think we had seen before, like in the industry at the time when we were releasing the song. So like that's played a big role, especially for the storytelling and whatnot.
Okay. So when you're in studio, do you know that this song is actually gonna be it? Like this one, hii ndo ile.
Ukipika chakula si unaonjanga hivi unasema So sometimes unajua when a good song inakuaga utajua. Yaani unaisikia tu unasema hapa hii watati.
So while you're making it you just know hii ndo ile song.
Also like Heart Band is like a whole village. We also have people that we trust that we can play someone a song and you can just judge from the reaction and you can tell. Na pia sometimes zinakusurprise. Ile yenye unadhani ndio hiyo.
Kumbe sio hiyo.
Which song surprised you? That really you guys put it out and it just was out there, like people really embraced it nicely.
Some of the songs in the sit
together tunauliza kiatu.
Tushtua. Jana tukirelease hatakuwa tumeplan kurelease uliza kiatu. We just got a big interview and then we were like, the manager was like, we have the producer just sent me the mastered version. We play it on air because I played. And they played it and tomorrow it's on radio, the next day. I think pia mashisha because hiyo time hatuko tuliona to try something different, something new, which is a club sound. Na ikatu shock. Still one of our biggest songs still now. And a lot more, yani 10 years kidogo ni mingi.
Okay, so you guys have performed all over Kenya. You've gone outside the country to perform, and just how is that feeling? I saw on your posts on social media, you had performed in Meru and you had over 5,000 people who came through. 5,000 si watu wachache. Someone has left whatever they're doing to come watch you guys do your thing. Just, do you ever get used to it? Like, now that you've done it for years, do you get used to it? Like, okay, wako hapa, okay.
Me personally najiongelea sababu every day is a learning day, every day is a new day for me and I'm performing. Na hiyo stage kwangu ni kama a new dawn. Yani nikifika hivi nikiona hivi yani nasema I don't have to play uliza kiatu bila nilicheza jana. Lazima nipe na vibe mpya. So kwangu each performance ni new kila time. Because we do rehearsal each and every time, so
na alafu unajua kucheza live ni different sana, because live music anything can go wrong. Unaweza anza kucheza hivi microphone katika gawaya na ndio tumeanza show. Yani there's a lot of things that happen in a live show and lazima ukue very aware of your surrounding because mafans hawafai kujua kama kuna kitu inaendelea. So shows zingine unaweza pata manze kuna vitu chaos
blanda mingi but
alafu unapata nafanya na kwamba manze hiyo show imeweza.
You guys still did.
Unasema tu
Okay, so it's like that sometimes. And when you guys are getting on stage before going to perform, do you have like a particular ritual? Okay, I don't have any other. Let me famous youth ritual. Is there something that you guys do before stepping on stage?
Well, me personally, I meditate a lot.
Yeah.
You know, I just like this, I like a lot of silence before I get on stage. You know, it's just to center myself, and you know, because sometimes it can be overwhelming, so you meditate.
You piga press ups. Yeah. Alafu pia naomba tu, alafu pia napiga tu nduru.
Before we went the stage, unakuja na nduru yako.
Sawa, yes.
Pia mimi.
Yeah, pia tuambie, come on.
Yani mi kwa tu yani niko watu wenye tunafanya kazi nao, just to make sure everybody is in line, kila mtu anajua set list venye inaenda, unajikumbusha tu, na try kukumbuka pia lyrics. Unajua saa ingine unaanzanga tu hivi kusema spoken word, alafu lyrics zote zinapotea. Unashangaa sasa leo kumeharibika, so just reminding yourself kidogo kidogo. But otherwise, prayer ndo inakuwaga the last thing we do before we step on stage.
Okay, amazing. What's your favorite show so far?
This one.
I don't like this one. Like you guys performing for people live.
Maybe ni kurudisha hapo kwa Meru. Did the Black and White Affair in Meru. So I think it was like 2 months ago. Yeah. And it was amazing, you know, like just jioni place, yani ni mashinani kabisa. And someone who's going to show up for a show like that is someone who really loves, you know, they love what you're doing and they come to support you. So like that was outstanding for me, and also the fact that it was on my birthday.
So
the guys are here, they were surprised hapo tu kwa stage katikati ya set na nini. It was amazing, man.
All right, so you guys have 4 studio albums out right now from Made in the Streets. Then you gave us a bonus one, which was Shukran. Then we have Simple Man, and now Party Time. Now before we talk about Party Time, because ni party, so before Party Time, just how much work goes into making an album?
Man, yeah, nice question.
It's like making a house. Known as stages, like you have to first write it on paper. Like this is what I want to do, this is the goals, this is the deadlines that I have. And then now you have to get into the process of production. And then after production, now you have to select the songs that are on the album. And then now you have to perfect those songs. Alafu after hiyo sasa ukisha perfect mixing and mastering. And then sasa ndo unabaki sasa process ya kufanya
script na videos,
pre na post release plan. Alafu sasa unaanza ku release. Alafu sasa unangoja mafans waamue. Like when we did Made in the Streets, we had to go to there's a friend of ours who lives in the national park,
Musangi.
Uko ndani
Big up yourself, Musangi.
So tulienda huko kwake tukamhijack, tukakaa huko na team yetu ya watu karibu 15, and we were just writing songs each and every day. Tuna record, tuliandika song karibu 60 na tuka record hizo acoustic.
Wow.
Then
in a period of how long?
A week, 10 days.
10 days, 60 songs.
60 songs.
Wow.
And then size of 60 unachagua song 13.
Na hapo unachagua sasa ndio shida.
I know, because how do you pick, because mmetengeneza 60, you have 60
tickets now, you like
raffle tickets?
Your favorite, tukiweka pamoja
tuna vote
kama tunamaliza match, tunapick.
Sengine mbaya tu, rigging inaendelea huko. ABC ni nini mambo. Kuna zile zinakuanga shua ziko ndani. Kuna zingine manzi lazima
uisukume by force.
Lazima utume kitu.
Okay.
Zichaguliwe. But it's a really interesting process, tunaipenda. Unajua, because that's where we mostly feel at home. Hiyo ndio kitu yani the best part of being a musician.
I see. So how do you pick on who you collabo with? Because you've collaborated with quite a number of people. So many of them. You know, kuna yenye napenda featuring Lady JD, Rosella. Beautiful song. Like
nimeshuku tutasema hiyo.
Because you know it's a good song, right? So how do you settle on who are we working with? Do you first have a song in mind and then you're like, I think she would do better in it, or how do you go about it?
I think like every single collaboration has been different in its own way. Like for example, Rosella, she reached out to us, right?
Okay.
JD. You can imagine. Right?
JD. Yes.
Is it true?
A legend.
No. She's a legend.
She is.
So tukapata studio. I think we had already written the song before. So like we just played it to her, presented it, and she was like, "Man, I love this." She put her verse there.
On time.
Same day. Laid it everything. Yani tukamaliza in one day. The whole session was done.
Okay.
Right. So like different collaborations have like different stories and different vibes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get into party time kwa sababu naona time inasonga na atuongelelei party time, and it is the it thing at the moment. So party time is out.
Yes.
You released it in May this year. That's the album Party Time.
Yes.
And kwa hiyo there's somewhere where I saw ulikuwa unaongea, I don't have the quote right now, but ulikuwa umemention ukisema, you know, this is the album, when you listen to it, I want you guys to like go for it, you know, make time to party.
Yes.
Na nikakumbuka wahenga wenye sasa ni sisi, unajua si ndo wahenga sasa. Yeah, there's wahenga wa siku hizi sasa sisi tunasema make sure you make time for enjoyment, because time for sadness, bad times huazinok kusema yeye kuje. So tell me about Party's Time, the album.
Party time for us ni kama gift. Mimi naitanga karaoke house party. Because naweza kuwa na drive kwa gari tu hivi nikiweka, yani ni bash tu kwangu personally. For me, yani it's that type of album whereby you can just enjoy it by yourself. We made the lyrics very easy and fun, and the sound very different than what you're used to as the Heart Band sound. Now Najupia, after we did Jaber and we did a club tour around the country, to realize there's need for us to also cater for that market. Yenye wanapenda sherehe.
Club
pia sisi tunajipatanga tuko kwa sherehe. We want to play our songs, lakini ni Rosella. So kutoka Rosella na dancehall imetoka. Kuna ka disconnect hapo. So tukafeel mafans wetu pia tunajua wanapenda kupati kama sisi. Mbona tusiwapatie album yenye iko na tu party songs. Unaona, and Party Time will come just at the best time. Yani juu COVID nini, so mazewe kula tu sherehe bana.
Piga sherehe. In whichever way your sherehe unaipiganga wewe. There's a song in the album Party Time that is just, it is my favorite at the moment. So the song is featuring Nabado featuring Nyashinski. If tunaweza imba tu kidogo tunaona mko na guitar tusizipeleke tu.
Okay, this is a song for the dreamer. Yeah, man. So, dream si maziwa.
Dream si maziwa. Hata ilale siku ngapi huwezi ganda.
Fungulia TV uone vijana wako wakifanya mambo ndani ya mitambo mama. Sauti tamu kwenye radio, nimefika hapa juu ya maombi yako, hata kama sijafika niendako. I know I'm on my way. Napenda ukitabasama, I hope I make you even prouder. Zidishiwe afya uone nikivuka boda. As I get older, lean on my shoulder. Umenifunza mengi, I remember when you told me don't you let nobody ever change who you are. Keep running hata nikianguka. Straight out of heaven, malaika. Upendo wako haujawaibadilika. You say take your time while you always in a hurry. Be a star, let it shine, tell your story. You're a 10 over 10, you should know that. Hawanioni vile unavyoniona mama. I'm gonna conquer the world with my guitar. Nabado.
Wow, what a song. What a song.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Asante sana.
Thank you.
So what song in the album so far has gotten the best reception?
Most people love this song. Yeah.
Oh, kumbe siko peke yangu. I thought I was
Uko peke
unique.
Okay, uko your way.
Okay.
Juu unajua kila mtu ako na dream. Unaona hata sisi tukianza hii muziki ilikuwa tu, it was just a dream, something in our head. Hata tuko tunajua kwenye inafaa kuenda, but tulikuwa tunajua there's something there.
Yeah.
Na sasa penye tuko unaona yani there's brands that are coming to endorse us. Like venye tunawaka na Black and White. Unaona there's people who are calling us from outside the country, wanataka tuende kuperform. Tunaenda counties zingine mazee, ni unapata mafans ni wengi. People you don't know, you wouldn't have met on any other day. So wase wanaipenda because it's just a testament that whatever you believe, siku moja ita come true.
Beautiful song. So I understand you have a performance in Nakuru.
Yes.
Coming October 8th. Ebu tuambie kuihusu ndo watu wa Nakuru wakuwe ready.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Kenches.
Oh, niuliza. Watu wa Nakuru basi mmesikia. Oktoba tunakuja hapo kwenyu. Tunakuja na Black and White, tunakuja kupiga show. Tulikuwa Meru. Tunakuja kwenyu. Prepare good music, good vibes.
Yeah.
Better together, you know.
After we did Made in the Streets, we did a countrywide tour. Tukafanya 8 counties. Na during your time tulikuwa tunataka sana juu tulifanya show kubwa, yani ilikuwa kubwa, tunaita it was a 3-day show. Siku ya kwanza university, siku ya pili tunaenda sasa tuna set up kwa grounds, siku ya tatu tunaenda maybe at a rehab center ama CSR activity. So and during that time tulikuwa tuna hope sana ku get push ya corporate, because it's important for the corporate world to merge with the entertainment scene, so that we are able to get the message out there and in a big way. Because the music is for the people. So when Black and White reached out to us to work na wao kufanya hii Black and White affair, tuipeleke huko Nakuru and other towns, it was a very nice opportunity for us to take charge na kwenda tukipush your message. Message tu ya the music is here, the people are here, the message of hope, a message of peace, and most importantly, responsible drinking.
Yeah, and you had another show yesterday.
Yes.
Jana too, by the way, pia mlikuwa na show Congress Coast. Killed it as usual. I mean,
you're now looking at the new. New vijana wa town.
Okay.
Vijana wa town.
So before we wind up, I'd love to know what makes each one of you unique before tumalize. Tuanze na Mordecai. What makes kuna nyambi najua yako? You're vegan.
Yeah. In case you don't know now, you know. Vegan thing all the way. Yeah, man, nimefurahi sana by the way kuwa hapa hivi and shukran sana for hosting us yani. Yeah.
You're most welcome. No, umelenga hiyo swali umeamua kwa nini. But it's cool. Can change.
I believe if I put my mind on anything, naifanya. Even I think na unique na hiyo kitu. Nikiamua kufanya naifanya vibaya sana. Hata nikiamua kuwa pilot leo.
Kesho tuko high.
Kesho tuko high.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mimi naweza sema ni nini? Acha tuseme ni smile yangu. Got it from my mama. Yeah, and I think maybe kama nikumalizia mimi naweza sema big up to each and every person who's supporting the music. All the big brands and big corporates who are coming on board to support different artists, different creatives, different social influencers, because when we raise the youth, we are raising the nation. So watu waendelee hivyo. Na tusikose kupatana Nakuru tarehe 8. Tutese
mbaya
kama kawaida
kama dawa.
Alright guys, unfortunately our time is up with Hat the Band. I believe that you guys have enjoyed yourselves just as much as I have. They are a vibe. Yani wameleta party too. They look like party time. I hope that you guys back at home have enjoyed the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. I have been your host Vivian Dago. You can simply just call me Miss V. Have yourselves a lovely weekend and a good night. But watumalizie na kangoma kamoja. Bye bye guys. Enjoy. For someone who's celebrating their birthday.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. kama ni birthday yako ini yako basi hata kama imepita.
Cheki. Siku nyingine imepita, miaka zazidi kusonga, na hapa sijajifikisha. Ni kwa uwezo wake Mola. Kesho si guarantee, favors don't come for free. Asking you shall receive, that's what mama taught me. So when the DJ plays my song, I wanna hear you sing along. Dance alone, because you already know. Leo tunapare, hatulale, cause it's your birthday. Enjoy. Leo tunapare, hatulale, cause it's my birthday. Enjoy na mimi. Enjoy na mimi. Enjoy na mimi. One time for the haters out there.
Kupata skiza tune ya mambo mema, dial *811*815#.
Mambo mema huwaendea watu wanaosubiri, ila mambo mema zaidi huwaendea watu wanaoyatafuta. Kupata mambo mema ni kufanikiwa, na kufanikiwa ni kutabasamu, kutafakari na kuhesabu mema na baraka ulizozichukulia hatua, ukazitafuta na kuzipata. Amka, tafuta ufanisi wako.
Kupata skiza tune ya mambo mema, dial *811*815#. *811*815#.